Okay, thank you, thank you. Okay, so here's what today's practice is about in general. Taking stock of the goodness that's already here. Taking stock of the goodness that's already here. This is important for a number of reasons, one of which is that our brain has developed to do just the opposite. Scientists call this the negativity bias of our human brain. It's way easier for our brain to notice something that's negative and then to fixate on it. Partly because evolutionarily that kept us out of danger. So knowing that this is one of the biases, or like the human brain leans towards the negative, that at least has been helpful to me to put a little muscle into reorienting towards the positive. So here's one of the ways that it shows up in my life these days without much effort. Almost every afternoon, I make a cup of something to drink, and then I sit outside when it's not pouring rain, which hasn't been a lot lately, or I sit on the deck. Oops, excuse me. Oh, it's my mama calling, but not now, Mom. Okay, back to sit outside with just a cup of tea for, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes and bathe in the good, relish the sensation of the air on my skin, the movement of the leaves in the breeze, the color of the sky, the general relative health of my body, that I get to live here where it's so beautiful. So for my system to open to this and allow in the goodness, it seems to me like my whole system settles a little bit. Like the nervous system that's ready to jump into fight or flight, it settles. And the emotion that seems most common during that 10 minutes is contentment, which is a lovely emotion to feel. It's so different than, say, accomplishment or gratification for having achieved something. Contentment in my world means there's an acknowledgement of being on a path and moving or evolving or progressing. And I'm not at the end of the path, but I'm happy to be on this path. That is how I understand contentment these days. So today's practice is a kind of formalized and systematic way of doing what I do in the afternoon with a cup of tea. Okay, we're about to do the practice. Before we actually do you have any comments or questions? Okay. So for this practice, any posture is fine. The more comfortable, perhaps, the better for today. As long as you don't fall asleep. and you still have easy access to your pen and paper. So as you settle in and your nervous system settles down, you might feel comfortable enough to close your eyes. Your system isn't prepared for any threat. Instead, it's relaxing. Most of your muscles are softening. Let your jaw muscles relax so there's a little space between your upper and lower teeth. Let your tongue relax from the tip to the base. An easy, soft heaviness in your mouth and throat. Let your shoulders slope towards the floors. And the rise and fall of your chest and belly be easy, smooth, continuous, and trustworthy. Noticing the pressure where your seat and your back meet the chair. Noticing the temperature of the air on your skin. And for a couple of breaths, sustain this open awareness. No need to fixate on anything in particular at this moment. Instead, imagine awareness like an open door or an open window. To the world, inside and out. Okay. So in a moment, I'll ask you to open your eyes, but not yet. I want to tell you what to look for first. Look for and then write down things you see that generate joy for you or pleasure. You feel a little uplift when your eyes scan and then focus on that object long enough to write it down. The purpose here is not to create a long list. The purpose here is to notice that little lift that happens. And then when you write down whatever it is that you're seeing, it's a form of honoring that thing. Whether it's a human being, or a photograph, or a pet. Yeah. So for 90 seconds, your job now is to list whatever you see that brings you joy and feel it. And then when that lift settles a little bit, go for something new. This is where we write. So 30 more seconds. And writing down your last thing for now. And then returning to this state of open awareness. Noticing what you notice. Maybe sensations, maybe thoughts or memories. And now turn your attention to what you can hear. And check if any of the sounds that you can hear offer you some sort of emotional lift. And then write that down. We won't spend the same amount of time here, but I'm asking you to tune into a different sense and use this new perception to generate happiness or pleasure. We're coming to the ending of the writing. Now we're going to shift where we're paying attention to your life these days. So the recent past and the near future. What are things or events or people these days that make your life enjoyable? That's what you write down. Things or people or pets or activity. Mhm. Yeah. And finishing the writing. And turn back to a relatively neutral state. Your attention like an open door or an open window. Now I'd like you to scan your memory for things or events or people in the past year that brought you pleasure or joy. So another 30 seconds. Mhm. And finishing with the writing. Returning to that neutral state where awareness is like an open door. Reconnecting with sensations like pressure at your buttocks and your back, sensations like the rise and fall of your belly. So now I'd like you to connect with your ability to speculate or forecast or predict. What are things or activities that make your near future, as in the next year, look bright, look good to you? What are some things that you look forward to or you hope will happen? Mm. And 30 more seconds. Okay, so here's our last category. Returning to that relatively neutral state, like awareness as an open door. Feeling simple, ordinary sensations like pressure and movement and air. So imagine that you're looking back on your life and your task is to write down the things that have brought you gratitude so far. The goodness that you can recognize and acknowledge. That's what you write down, what shows up. It might be small, it might be huge, it might be a combination of delights or good fortune or gratitude. And then there's 30 more seconds here. So you're looking back. Could be 5 years, could be 50. Okay. And finishing up the writing, and then we'll take 2 minutes in which we practice being attentive to the goodness in our lives. There may not be specific images in your mind of goodness, but the intention is to connect with the feeling of richness and fullness, a kind of beauty that gives rise to generosity and kindness. Not because of any single particular thing, event, or person, but out of an awareness of the goodness that abounds, that is already here, and you are awake to it. It's not something you manufacture. Your nervous system is calm and open and appreciative. Your nervous system is calm, open, and appreciative. So 30 more seconds on your own. And releasing that focus, drawing your hands together in Anjali. Just pausing here in this very simple and humble and very human posture. For now, let there be feelings of gratitude and appreciation for the goodness of your life and the goodness that surrounds you. And as a gesture of appreciation, kiss your fingertips. Open your hands like a prayer book. Take in a deep, slow inhalation. With the exhalation, blow those kisses of appreciation out to your world. And when you're ready, let the hands go to wherever they'll be comfortable. Let your eyelids flutter open, returning your attention to your location and to the screen.